Hello Internet, my name is Scott Fernandez. I'm going to be doing a gear rundown of my rig. I get a lot of requests to do so, and I finally decided it's time. So I'm going to be running through each one of my pedals individually, as well as I'll do quick demos of each as this video progresses. So it might be a little long, but it'll be worth it. So I'll probably put markers in the comments or somewhere on the video itself so that you can fiddle around with it at your own discretion. Regardless, so I'm going to do a demo video of each one of my pedals. I'm going to do it with my amps and each bass. The basses I'll probably do videos independently, whatever, I don't know. We'll see. Nonetheless, thank you again. My name is Scott Fernandez, so catch you in a moment, I guess, whatever. Shit. So, the first pedal on my board is my TC Electronics Polytune polychromatic tuner. Has the true bypass function, a couple other functions for different clubs. The display will brighten up depending on the amount of light in the area, which is pretty dope. Gets down to my, well, depending on how the gain output on my 12 string is, it'll even come down to the low F sharp. That's about as low as I can get it. Obviously I still have the low C sharp underneath that, but nonetheless that is still pretty low. And I don't know if they did that intentionally or not, but thank you TC Electronics for being awesome in that regard. Nonetheless, so that's my first pedal. It's literally the first pedal on my pedal chain. So on to the next one. The next pedal on my pedal chain is my ElectroHarmonix Hum Debugger, and it's in a hum eliminator. Now, the reason why that's second off is because I have an 18-volt preamp in my 12 string, and it's a little noisy. Just put it in close proximity to any light source, and it's just going to make noise. That's kind of the nature of the beast, the nature of having pickups that large. So, this gets rid of all of that. It's almost entirely noise free unless I go out of my way or I have an electrical issue, which is not unlikely, but depending on power distribution. But on the whole, it will not be from my bass. That is one thing that this thing just destroys, is there is no hum off of my instruments. There can be hum from any other location on my pedal board, but my instruments, this thing wins. So again, that's the Hum Debugger by ElectroHarmonix, which is just flipping perfect. I guess we're gonna on to the next one. So the next pedal in my pedal chain is my TC Electronics Nova Dynamics. Now this is my dual engine compressor. On the whole, it works really well. The way I work it is I run my signal indirectly to the A side, which is you can run these kind of a mono signal. So I run it into the A side originally, compress it, and then I get a general sound of essentially volume and just normal C compression. And then I start fiddling with it, and I recompress it on the B side by just with a variety of settings, depending on the song or depending on the what I'm doing. And that's where I get my specific tone or sound. With my 4-string, it pretty much brings everything up. With my 12-string, it pretty much balances everything out. Has a cool meter on it, so you can just define how much gain you're putting into that bad boy in the first place. But on the whole, yeah, I just use it as a sound normalizer. I make my sound good and well at the same time by having the dual engines. It's a discontinued pedal, but I would not. I've fiddled with a lot of variety of compressors, and I enjoy the compression aspect. I know a lot of people would rather just put the money into the bass and say to hell with the compressor, but I like having those controls at my feet, well, at my fingertips, but really at my feet, so that I can go back and forth depending on what I'm doing. Now, most of my dynamics come from my playing anyways, but this really helps with normalizing my instruments. Nonetheless, so that's the third pedal in my pedal chain, the TC Nova Dynamics. TC Electronics Nova Dynamics. Alright, on to the next one. So, from my tuner into my hum debugger into my compressor, and then the first effectual pedal I have is my freeze pedal. The first freeze pedal, and that's an ElectroHarmonix on the nano side pedal, and it is one of my favorite pedals. It's this pedal in particular is the first pedal that I ever bought, and it is a sound retainer, essentially like a sustain pedal on a piano. So if you've ever fiddled with a piano much, you know how a sustain pedal works. You hit the note, you hit the pedal, it holds out the note. The end. Real simple, real clean. This is the first one on my pedal chain, so this is completely unaffected. Well, except for my compressor. This is the note that comes out of my bass first is the note that this affects. It doesn't have any reverbs or choruses or any of that nonsense on it. And it runs out mono for now. It gets split up into a stereo signal in a second, but yeah, as of right now it's still mono. So this goes to both of my amps, this goes to both the house, this goes to both of the DIs, it goes to everything. It's a very important pedal on my board, and that's why it is in such bad shape. Honestly, I kind of used the crap out of it, but nonetheless. So that's the first pedal, official pedal that I alter it with. So from there we're going on to the next one. So, after my tuner, my hum debugger, my compressor, and my first freeze pedal, the first freeze pedal on my pedal chain, we are on to my harmonic octave generator, or HOG. This is a pedal by ElectroHarmonix. It's up from the POG 2. It has a lot more features than the POG 2 does, but it's all pretty dope stuff. And so we're going to start with just the variations of what it does. I'm not going to get into the envelope and filter, mostly because I really don't know what they do, but I can at least show you the sounds that I can do with the octaves. So we have your input gain, dry output, simple stuff. Then you have 2 octaves below, 1 octave below, then you have your just original signal swelled in. You then have the 5th. You then have the single octave up. Then you have the single octave up and a 5th. Then you have 2 octaves. Then you have the 2 octaves and a 3rd, which is a strange increment. Then you have 3 octaves, and then you have 4 octaves. And then the variations of that are octave blend, step bend, which you control with the expression pedal, volume, obviously, freeze and gliss, and the freeze works like a sustain pedal, just like my freeze pedals. And gliss is kind of like an icebox feel to it. Very shiny, if you can describe sound as shiny. Freeze and volume, so it swells in the octaved notes, and obviously just does a volume swell. The wah-wah effect, which we're all familiar with, and then you have the filter modeling kind of, or filter noise effects, which you fiddle with on the controls over here. Nonetheless, so here is my harmonic octave generator. I have it with the foot controller and the expression pedal. So I have the foot controller, which allows me to save 6 different settings, and then the expression pedal right there, which is what I use to control it. Control the individual effects. Nonetheless, so that is the harmonic octave generator by ElectroHarmonix. On to the next pedal.